Hello, and welcome back to Speedrun, the fast-talking video game podcast where we talk about pretty much anything weird and or retro that interests us. I, of course, am Jamie.
I am Jazzy, finally in my new office.
New office hype.
New office hype.
Boxes
I was going to
everywhere.
say, I have lots of... Oh, that's awkward. Here's my bra. Patrons get to see my discarded sports bra. All right, quality content. Hi, Jamie.
Hi. So today we are talking about something very special, and that is, we weren't around for the early years of the internet throughout the late aliens. Yeah, right. That's what I was saying. No, throughout the late 80s and the 90s, but we were there for the awkward teen years, the early and mid 2000s.
We were indeed, and boy, what a time it was.
But before we go into that, I want to mention a couple things just in regards to announcements. First off, though I mentioned this on an NSA I did in post when that episode went out, at the recording of this, the very recording of this, we are 3 days past me having hit, well, really both of us, since we're both doing channel stuff now, having hit 20,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yay us!
We did the thing. We have new things planned. Some of it involves Discord. What is my chair stuck on? But
Everything.
Some of it involving a Discord thing. One of it involving frickin' Gilbert Gottfried.
Yes.
And
Can I hype my shit? Can I hype my
yes,
stuff?
hype your stuff. I need to animate you a thing, by the way. Remind me.
Yes. I just said the S word. Remind me. Is that fine or no?
I mean, as long as it's not like...
Okay. It's not that one. Anywho, so you may be wondering, this is my new fidget toy, and yes, for those wondering at home, it is indeed a Rock Band strum bar. You may be wondering, why do I have just a Rock Band strum bar? That's because yesterday I did about 20 gigs worth of footage, 10 of which got corrupted, of me modding out a old Rock Band controller with a new strum bar, and just bringing it up to snuff because I hate this one and I want it to play more like the Guitar Hero strum bar without all the noise. So I'm going to be editing that over like the next week or so. Hopefully that goes up soon. It's part of the new series we've been hyping, Stuff We Make, which is going to come out after we hit 20k. We have hit 20k, so full steam ahead on Stuff We Make.
Yes. And speaking of stuff we're making,
money.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean...
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. No, seriously, like, it's crazy how things are going. I'm working on that video on the GBA worm cam right now, which is weird, but cool. I feel like I go off the rails a little on that one, which I think is a sign of things to come, but...
People have been really vibing with the more chaotic energy, though.
I think so as well. I think people are like, oh, they aren't completely alone and dead inside anymore.
Speak for yourself.
But there's something someone else is making I would like to plug, and it might be over at this point. But Neil from RMC, who we actually had in the show some weeks back, and it was fantastic. He's actually funding the last bit of his computer museum cafe hangout place he wants to make, including making a secret arcade and stuff. And we mentioned when he was on the show that that's supported in part by Patreon, but also to generate funds for that, him and a buddy of his have launched a Kickstarter campaign for a retro computer coloring book.
Those tiers that you can buy into include the physical coloring book itself, the PDFs to make more pages if you fill it up, an autographed version, and you can also sponsor individual pages at the $50 tier, which is frankly a bargain for having your name sponsored on a page. That's really cool.
And honestly, with the rise in adult coloring books and such, I feel like this is definitely something that will be popular among a large variety of age groups. I backed one for myself, and I'm debating getting a second one because I have a brother-in-law who's absolutely incredibly techie. He works in coding. When, he was a teenager, he built computers. I feel like this is something he would love to do with my niece and nephew. Also,
Before
I
we
want to
get
color
into it,
Commodore
I'm looking
64.
Oh, same though. Same though. Before we get into it, I'm looking at my camera feed. And I'm just like, wow, I really have like a lion's mane going on. I've not had time to like go back to my stylist in like a month. So I'm just like, I get volume in the summer.
No, I feel. I mean, to be fair, do I look like I neaten up my hair for today? I have like a little like dangly bit like going in front of my eyes.
I was going to say it's very anime. I'm kind of here for this, just like the whoop, yeah.
Yeah, this is my and then if you back us on Patreon now, you can join the waifu tier.
We have a waifu tier?
We should.
I was
and
going to say,
and the waifu tier, I will notice you.
You know, that's a good reward. Don't you already have that of like, I will give you a shout out once per month on a social media of your choice? Isn't that already Senpai noticing you?
It's a one-time thing, but yes, it is one of the tiers.
I see.
I feel like we've gone a little off the rails. Would you like for me to put this train back on the tracks?
We're just doing like general community housekeeping, but let's get on the topic.
Let's get on the topic. Mid-2000s internet. Jazzy, go off.
So I was born in 1995. I was born and raised on the Nintendo 64 as like my primary like first console. And for the longest time, I think up till about middle school, our house had dial-up internet. And most people did have dial-up internet in that era. I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, broadband. That was not widely adopted for a while. If you lived through that era in anywhere that wasn't upper class America specifically, I'm speaking through this lens, through like an American experience and lens. Not many people had broadband internet. So if you wanted to go on Napster, you were waiting a long time to get your really low quality rip of Numb by Linkin Park. And the other part is you better be careful if you go in the wilderness in RuneScape. And you better hope that everyone else was on dial-up. Because if you lagged out in the wilderness, all your stuff was toast. There are stories of esports players playing Counter-Strike and other games in that era that are now like some of the best snipers because they had to contend with 56K modems for their lag. And so now when it comes to like adjusting for lag and movement in modern Counter-Strike, it's just like, oh, click on the head, dead. And it's just that simple. Same thing with Australian snipers, even now, because Aussie internet is really laggy, for those who don't know. Oceania just does not have wonderful internet service, so don't mess with an Australian sniper in Counter-Strike. There's a little free hint there. But in terms of, I can actively hear that timer ticking. It's so loud.
Do you want me to move it?
Yeah, can we move it like farther away?
Is that better?
I kind of like it. Do you think it adds like a certain je ne sais quoi to the show?
Like a bit of ambience. A real timer.
I like it. It adds a bit of anxiety.
Oh, I can move it slightly even farther than that then.
No, it's fine. The other thing that I remember from the era, I'm not sure if you remember this, but big yawn. I'm so sorry. As I keep saying, I've been like moving and like I'm tired, but that's okay. We're here. That's what matters.
We're here. We're queer. We're filled with existential fear.
We're here. We're queer. The time of reckoning is near.
Sponsored by Skillshare.
Sponsored by Skillshare. Not yet. Maybe.
Not yet.
Skillshare. We're watching. We were talking the other day. I think we were in some sort of voice chat in the Stuff We Play server, and I don't know what made me think of this, but did you ever go on the Post website, like Post Serial, and play the games on there as a kid?
Yes, because I remember for a while they actually advertised it on the cereal boxes.
Those games were hype. They were right up there with Neopets in terms of popularity in my school, and this was specifically before RuneScape exploded. Sorry.
You got it.
Take a shot every time Jazzy yawns.
I'm going to just take a shot of my milkshake here.
I was going to say, I'm going to get some Wawa.
Oh, I love
Good
Wawa.
talk.
Good
talk.
pretzels.
Good pretzels. Great pretzels. Good talk. This was before RuneScape really exploded. RuneScape was out, and it was big, but this is like 2002, 2003, so this is still RuneScape Classic, which I did play in the era, but before RuneScape 2 came out and really changed the game. So a lot of people were still playing Neopets and still playing different like game sites, like Alfie Games was another one. And if you're old as dust like me, you probably remember it as well. But there are so many archived Flash games, which is why I'm so glad that the archive exists now, because you can go back and play a lot of these, like, and not even Flash games, also like Shockwave, if anyone remembers the Shockwave Macromedia. Yes, before it was Adobe, and like the very rudimentary 3D, and that is such like a like not pivotal, but like foundational is the word I'm looking for. Like experience in my childhood is playing these really old web browser. Excuse me. Really old web browser games. Yeah, that took like 3 minutes to load because of dial-up internet. And every time you hit a loading screen, you're like, no, because it took forever. And this is the part of the show where I mentioned the Lego.com games and how I played the absolute shit out of them. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Like, you're seeing my face light up in real time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, the Lego.com games, especially Junkbot, there we go. Junkbot and Backlot were my favorites, but by far my favorite that I would always reach for during indoor recess was Matanui Online Game 2 specifically. It's a point-and-click adventure game in the Bionicle universe, all online. I just bonked my microphone on the Lego.com website, and you can play it online, I think at the Biomedia Project. Let me find this. Biomedia Project. This is going to be in the show notes for those keeping score at home. Jamie, I'm going to send you a link right now.
Yes.
There you go. Right next to the Blink 182 song I sent you. There you go.
Yes, the wholesome one.
The wholesome one.
Song.
Very family friendly. But so you can still play a lot of these games just on fan-based media websites like the Biomedia Project for the Bionicle games, and for the name escapes me right now, but you know what I mean, the archive for Shockwave and Flash games that is available right now. Talking Stick.
Yeah, I mean, you've touched on a lot that I want to mention. Of course, if we're talking Flash games and animations as well, we have to mention Newgrounds. Newgrounds was a very formative place, and part of why my humor even today is basically the reason I am just mentally I'm but a 14-year-old with adult career aspirations. and I firmly blame Newgrounds for making me this way.
Who on Newgrounds specifically do you blame the most?
All right. Here's the one that I always came back to, and it's a shame because I don't remember who made it, but it was this trilogy of the President of the United States getting kidnapped and frickin' Kirby having to go out and rescue him.
Is that an editing mark?
There are other ones as well, though. Ultimate Flash Sonic I love to play. Mega Man vs. Metroid. Of course, there are all the very stick figure fighting animations that were always so gory and fun to watch.
Oh my god, those were all the rage on early YouTube. Like, stick figures fighting was like a genre in and of itself. It was such a... If you weren't there, it's hard to understand. But literally just Flash animated, made by like fellow like kids from the era that when we were animating stick figures just beating the hell out of each other, and some of them were really smooth animations, and some of them went on to like do really, really big cool things.
I think there's a couple other things like that, because the funniest thing about Newgrounds from that era is that a lot of what was Newgrounds, what was early YouTube, just blends together to me. I mean, sure, there are Let's Plays. I mean, I watched a lot of early Let's Plays on YouTube because why play video games so I can watch other people play them for me? But, you know.
And there's never a mic, there's never a camera, except for the camera that was pointed directly at the CRT television with the scan lines going up and down. And about, like, 4 frames if you were lucky.
I remember, goodness, I can't believe... I guess this is technically mid-2000s, but I remember Some Call Me Johnny's super early Sonic videos from, like, 07, 08, where he literally... He'd gotten something real fancy for 2008. A widescreen HD television.
Blown away.
Let me tell you, it looked so good when he did his Sonic Unleashed review, and he had this camera pointing at the screen, but like for that era of YouTube, it's like, oh, this looks good. This looks good, and like everyone thought really so at the time.
I think that's why AVGN, which is another big part of this era of the internet, because the first one was like 2003. I think. Anyways.
Yeah. Sorry, I dropped a timer for a sec.
No, you're okay. But I don't need to talk more about AVGN because if you're listening to this podcast, you most likely already know about AVGN. But part of what made his content so amazing, James Rolfe specifically, was the actual quality of it for the era. Because he was getting actual screen recordings of the content like ripped directly from the TV by way of like VHS tapes and like recorders.
He was an actual filmmaker.
He was a filmmaker, and what he was doing stood head and shoulders above what everyone else was doing. Like Darkside Phil, who was still pointing his camera at the TV way late into the game, when James was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm casually doing capture card-esque footage with a VHS recorder," and it's really, really incredible, especially if you were to limit yourself to like the constraints of the era. You can really see like the love that went into early content. Like I think a lot of us have like fun machines, or at least virtual machines on our computers. That's like a Windows like 98 situation, or like Windows XP is really popular, and you can see like the old version of Paint, the old Movie Maker. Maybe you install Winamp if you're a cool kid. But Windows Movie Maker, especially the XP version, was where a lot of the content from this era was born, and was so important to really so much that went into like the internet culture of the time. Like that one program is how YouTube Poops were born. That's how a lot of
Gay
like
Luigi.
early Gay Luigi. I hope she made lots of Gay Luigi. It's perfect example. YouTube Poop was also absolutely ginormous in the era, and that's to say nothing about, say it with me, AMVs. The best way to listen to your music.
Actually, there's literally there's like Anime Con here every year that still does the biggest event every year is still the AMV contest.
Any anime convention worth their salt will do an AMV contest.
I just realized the physical timer, it hit 0 and it gave like a tiny ring, but it didn't actually like fully ring. This is disappointing. I wasted $3. I'm going to try it again next episode, but you know what?
You wasted 5 American cents.
I could have bought myself some Timmies with that.
You could have got the Timmies.
I could have gotten a double with that money. But no.
Ooh,
I know the worst part
Timmies
is
now.
This is the second timer.
Yeah, I was going to say now we've burnt out 2 timers on this podcast.
It's fine. I'll keep both. There'll be props.
I was going to say we need to keep, it's like a mark on our weapon. We need to keep our kills mounted on like a pike.
like what is that? Like I was like, oh, we're going to do the timer because it's going to like go to the speed running, but no, we're just killing timers every episode, or not every episode, but like that's 2 now.
Every time we try an actual physical timer, we burn it. I think that means that we have to move on to the next episode. So Jamie, do we want to wrap it up?
Yes, the one last note I want to end on is I think we could do an entire episode as well to follow this up on internet forums, because I spent so much time back in the day. Poke Community was the one especially for me, because I was really
I discovered a lot about myself. Oh, I'm sorry?
Oh, I was going to say, I played a lot of ROM hacks.
I was going to say, I discovered a lot about myself as a human being on internet forums in like 2007.
It was weird. It was like this weird middle ground between like a blog and like actually messaging people. And it's weird to think about because like our forums aren't really a big thing anymore.
Don't say that. I still love them. Don't invoke that.
I'm not on any anymore. Like, it's weird to think about for me.
I am!
The last one I was on is... Oh, goodness. I guess I check Reset Era on occasion, but that's it. I'm not on Reset Era. I just think there's cool shit posted there. But on that note... Jazzy, you looked like you're about to say something.
I was just happy that you're not one of the people that says Reese Terra.
Reese Terra.
I've heard it on YouTube. It's almost as bad as Run Escape. I've been Jazzy.
I've been Jamie. Speedrun is made possible in part by our wonderful simps over on Patreon. Patreon.com/StuffWePlay, because Speedrun is part of Stuff We Play. For as low as $1 a month, you can get episodes of Speedrun a week early. And in the $10 tier, you can get your name read out, just like Robert and Abby Hornibrook. We are also made possible in part by Podbean, who hosts our podcast. Get paid podcast hosting of your own and help out the show by going to podbean.com/speedrun or using the code speedrun at checkout. We also now record using Riverside FM. And use our link in the description below to, well, I mean, give us 10% of your order. That's pretty much the thing. Money
Please.
now. Give me money.
Please.
Please.
Look, we're giving it to you straight, listeners. Other people will beat around the bush like, how supportive. Nah, we're telling it like it is. We need some money so we can buy some chicken tenders. That's what it is all about. We are giving to you straight. We're not beating around the bush. This is what we're after. This is what we're going to use it for. There's no... mamby-pambiness, I don't know, about us. There's no wishy-washiness. There's no confusion. There's no mistaking it for what we really are. We are upfront and we are here. Give us your money.
Well, you heard her. Oh, God. So... We're doing a video sponsored by Zen Market, and they've literally given us 15,000 yen, and I'm having Jazzy as a witness once we're done recording today, as I buy a literal box of 90 GameCube games. My fiance is going to think I'm insane. I do not care. Actually, they're not going to think I'm insane. They're going to be like, sweetie, why?
I got Warhammer models from Japan.
Money. Okay, so...
No more money talk.
No more money.
We already did that joke. We already did that bit.
Jazzy edits his things, and you're with Cleveland Audio Mixology. That's your thing.
Is that a truck or lightning? I can't even tell anymore.
Oh,
I am with Cleveland Audio Mixology. If you want your podcast to sound spectacular, drop me an email. It is a whole collaborative of engineers here in Cleveland, Ohio, that we do bands, we do podcasts, we do all sorts of stuff. ClevelandAudioMixology.com is where you can go.
Excellent. So on that note, again, I have been Jamie.
I've been Jazzy.
And this has been the most beautiful chaos I have seen all week. It fills my heart with such glee as I was going to
say, am I going to edit that? Or are we just going to leave that?
Are we just going to leave this? Or I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to push up.
I've been Jazzy.
Thank you very much for listening. Stay classy. And I'll see you, I'll see you next time.
Next time. Bye.
I'll see you in my dreams.
No! That's so creepy. That's so creepy.
Is that the note we want to end off on? I mean,
No.
I'm trying to gauge the vibe.